Well, thank you so much, Paul. Now, according to one reviewer, this production deserves top marks for the slickness of it all, the speedy costume changes, perfectly timed sound effects, and a wonderfully intricate set. Now, this writer is referring to the theatre on the Bay's latest production titled The Mystery of Irma Vep, starring Jonathan Roxmouth and Weslee Swain Lauder. And this over-the-top theatre sees Roxmouth and Lauder play an impressive collection of characters, and the pair join us now from our Sea Point Studios in Cape Town to share some light on the production. A very good morning to you two gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you for having us.
Hello, good morning.
Indeed. Now, Jonathan, I'm going to start with you. Give us a brief synopsis of what the Mystery of Irma Vep is all about.
Basically, there's a manor house in the middle of nowhere, and Lord Edgar has remarried a new wife, and she comes into the house and discovers that there are things that perhaps aren't what they should be, and she's joined by a maid, Jane, who doesn't necessarily like her but has secrets. There's also a groundskeeper, Nicodemus, who has secrets. There's a lot of secrets, and ultimately throughout the course of the evening she discovers what the Mystery of Irma Vep is, which we're not going to spoil just yet.
All right. Now, Weslee, talk to us about the amount of work that you've put in and the amount of perfection that you've actually put into these roles.
That's sweet, perfection. Well, I mean, Jonathan and I have both worked incredibly hard to put the show on with our wonderful production team, the director, Elisma Badenhorst, the producer, Jaco van Rensburg, and our associate producer and original score and arranger, Wessel Oordendaal. We worked really hard. We rehearsed for 2.5 weeks, and then we popped the show on in Johannesburg at the Monte Casino Theatre, and we're now in Cape Town doing our run at the theatre on the Bay. But it was 6 days a week, 10 to 6, working really hard, learning lines, 57 pages worth of lines, and it's just Jonathan and I on stage having a party every night from, well, not a party, but having a good time for 2 hours on stage.
And what are some of the challenges that come with balancing over-the-top theatre to make sure that it actually becomes hilarious?
Well, what's so fantastic is that the genre is called Theatre of the Ridiculous, and Charles Latlam, who wrote the play, really wanted the actors who were performing the piece and the people who enjoy this type of theatre to just immerse themselves in ridiculousness and not hold back and not allow anything to sort of stop them from being ridiculous and idiotic, and let that make sense and through the piece. So I think the balance is that, you know, in the idea that our director let us have, you know, a lot of fun, and then sort of steered us into a really awesome direction, adding a lot of spice, adding a lot of ridiculousness, adding a lot of craziness. And I think the way that we've interpreted the piece lends itself to it. And it's been a fantastic journey.
Yeah, I can imagine. Now, I'm going to engage both of you. Now, one reviewer has described you as beasts, ghouls, and gentle folk. Would you actually say that this is a true reflection of yourselves?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I would. It's interesting. Most people pick up on the fact that Weslee and I get on off stage as well, and I think the fact that we are friends and we're close as it is really translates on stage, so that our transformation into beasts, ghouls, vampires, werewolves, all that sort of thing is completely believable, in that we support one another. Yes. Yeah. And a big thing about the direction is that we were told we are not allowed to laugh at each other. So really? It's not like when you go to a comedy and the actors start just laughing at each other and sort of ruin the moment. We really have been directed to be very disciplined about that as much as possible, to serve the story and not, you know, feel like we're having a private party that the audience isn't a part of. The audience is always in on it. We're always having fun, but within the story, which is important, I think. Otherwise, as you say, it does go over that line of being just silly.
Yeah, yeah. Now, Weslee, talk to us about the chemistry between the two of you on stage. Why was it important for you to master it, and how did you master it?
It's really important it was really important for us to master it because Jonathan and I, or the characters and the way the piece has been constructed and put together, there are moments where Jonathan and I get incredibly intimate with each other, both physically and because we're on stage together. I mean, you know, and we're working really hard, we're sweating and we're going crazy. You know, there are moments where you're bound to get incredibly personal with each other.
It sounds revolting.
It does sound revolting, but it's not. But I mean, like any other piece or whatever, you know, we get quite personally with each other, especially in the Egypt scene. You know, there's a couple of images showing on the screen now. So it's really important for us. It's important for us to have chemistry, because without the connection that we have together, or what we share, I think it would have been really difficult for us to go forward and to create a really awesome piece.
Touche. I fully agree. Now, how was the show received in Joburg, and what's the best compliment you received so far?
What's really awesome is that a lot of people don't know that it's only that we're two actors. There's been many debates as to whether or not there are 4 actors on stage, and I think that's really probably the best compliment we could get.
Now, Jonathan, I'm actually very keen to know, how do you manage that speedy change of costumes on stage and during the play? Talk to us about that.
Well, all our costumes are specially made to come off us or be put on us in sort of 3 to 5 seconds. So we have people helping us, you know, backstage to get into them, but ultimately we spend a lot of time running through one door, and there's 1, 2, 3, and then coming out another door. And we don't just put on a different hat. It's a complete wig. It's sometimes a pair of shoes and a dress, or if you're a man, jacket, pants, shirt, wig, trousers, all of that. You know, it's full costume changes, which we don't see a lot of these days. You know, sometimes if people go see a quick change fast, you know, you get a shawl and a cap.
Okay.
This production is complete. Like, it's from head to toe, a complete costume change. It's not just the wigs. It's also been designed by people who really understand the genre and do it, you know, a lot of it is over the top, but still we've had a few people saying, "Oh, I'd wear that," which is worrying. But still, we trust them.
All right. Now,
we trust them. We have a good time doing it.
All right. Now, gentlemen, all the best. Great chatting to you this morning. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
you so much.
All right. That is lead actors of the theatre on the Bay's latest production, The Mystery of Irma Vep, Jonathan Roxmouth, and, of course, Weslee Swain Lauder. Now, the production runs until the 19th of August, following its July run at Pierre de Tourin's Monte Casino Theatre in Johannesburg.